What is up, geeks and gamers? It's your boy Q
and QMG. And before we go any further, I have breaking news. Adrian Wojnarowski
and Woj, shout out Woj,
has just confirmed the Los Angeles Clippers are trading Pat Bev, Rondo, and Daniel Arturo to the Memphis Grizzlies for guard Eric Bledsoe.
What up? This your boy Q.
QMG.
Bring you guys into the Quniverse, where we talk to you guys about everything geeky, gamey, and nerdy. And you already know we got to turn up a little bit. Let's go ahead and let that beer ride. What is up? We got a great show. Great for the geeks and gamers out there. We got a good show. We're going to be talking about Willem Dafoe being a little coy about Spider No Way Home. We're going to be talking about some What If. We're going to be talking about some Powerpuff Girls. We're going to be talking about some Disney Plus Day. We got a great show for y'all. But you already know we got to let that beat ride out. So let that junk go. Shout out Donnie Katana, man, with this Fire Gundam beat. Let's work. Got a great show, man. It's feeling good. Let that be ride. Yeah. What up, QMG? You doing all right, bro? You doing good?
Yes, sir.
Got a great show for y'all, man. Thanks to all the geeks and gamers. And like we always say, if y'all want us to keep bringing y'all great content, go over to YouTube at Into the Quniverse and give us a follow, subscribe, comment, like, as far as well on the Facebook page as well. Like, comment, share. Let us know what y'all think. And always come in and comment and let us know, because we're going to talk about what y'all want us to talk about over here Into the Quniverse. But we got a great episode. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and hop straight on into it, man. We're going to start off with Marvel What If came out last week, and QMG saw it before me. I just watched it today, and might I say, woo-wee, I actually was very impressed. I was very impressed with it. Actually, I was surprised at how impressed I was with the cinematography that they did, the CGI, the voice acting. Whoa, it was very solid, super solid. Let us know how y'all feel about What If in the comments. QMG, before I get to my points on What If, I definitely want to hear your thoughts, because you were actually excited for the What If stories, and I will definitely want to see what was some of your thoughts on What If as a whole.
Make sure my mic is a little close to me so y'all can hear me. Mike, my opinion on What If was it's decent. It's all right. It wasn't nothing that blew my mind or anything like that, but it was still something that I think is worth people's time and everything. I feel like it is something unique to it. It adds something unique to the whole space of the MCU. I feel like it is a very beautifully animated show.
Yeah, definitely.
For certain, I think that a lot of people were kind of harsh going into it on the viewpoint of what the animation looked like and whatnot. So yeah, I definitely feel like that. The one thing I can say for sure is that I think that the voice acting could have been done a lot better than it was. I'll definitely say that first and foremost.
I disagree. I think the voice acting was spot on almost.
But I think it was. I don't think it's fit. I think it should have been. I get it. I'm all for actors reprising their roles and such, but I definitely feel like it should have been done a lot better than what it was, in my opinion.
Yeah,
it really wasn't as it wasn't as good. It wasn't as good as I thought it was. So I wish that was the only real down, like legitimate down part, but other than that, yeah, I think it was still good. I think it was still worth watching. Still the plane sequence in the show, it was it was really good. You'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. But yeah, that was my feelings and opinions on it.
I agree with you on a lot of points, but some I disagree. I think it was all well-rounded all the way around. Just the simple fact that we're getting retelling and reimagining of certain sequences and movies, it seems pretty cool. It seems like they opened the door to a lot. I could see What If going on for a long time, and as they get better with their acting, because I thought it was at least average. I didn't think it was great at the greatest voice acting, But you got to take into account a lot of these people, a lot of these actors are not voice actors. You know what I'm saying? They are movie actors, so they not really used to the whole storyboard scene where they have to act it out and visualize these characters doing this as opposed to actually being in the moment. So I get it, but do I think it was subpar? No, not the least. I thought it was really good. I thought they did a really good job. Agent Carter, if their point was to make her badass, they 100% nailed it. They 100% nailed Peggy Carter being a badass. I think it was amazing. Steve still had the heart of gold. Chris Evans, I believe he did a good job playing that role. I don't really have any bad qualms with it, to be honest. I didn't feel like there was anything that I saw that made me feel a certain type of way. Everything was pretty good. The fight scenes were great. Like you said, the plane scene was awesome. The Hydra Stomper, like Howard Stark, like I thought it was done really well. And I'm kind of hyped to see where they go further with What If. So on your hype train for the rest of What If, where do you see it? Because I'm like at a 7, maybe.
Mine's just about 7 too. Turn me up a little bit.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'm like at a 7 too. That's really it for me. Just I'll see how it goes moving forward, but overall, not too excited, over the moon about it. So,
facts. So, but okay, now that we're talking about What If, and obviously their What If kind of is describing all of the multiversal branches from Loki, if I'm okay to say that, that they're describing all these multiversal branches. Do you feel like What If will have a bigger prominence than what we initially thought it would?
No, I think it's still going to be the same little show that has like a couple of things that might be referenced in Doctor Strange too, but it's not going to be nothing gargantuan. I don't think that's the point of it. I think it's just going to be a showcase, if you will.
Definitely. I definitely agree. It would be kind of cool to see if maybe we see some What If stories have a long lasting impact or at least some effect to the new MCU universe that is being built. But I don't think so either. But I think What If was cool. It's like a cool breath of fresh air. It was just cool to revisit old movies like Captain America 1 and actually getting to see it in a different perspective. Like I said, so I didn't get to ask you. So did you feel like Peggy Carter was badass? Do you feel like they represented her perfectly, like well in this specific story?
Yeah, I do. I think that it was a real good representation of the story for what they were doing. I think that I was actually pretty surprised with how much action they packed into it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that was an epic showcase for her. Again, like that ties back to my feelings about the animation, and they definitely didn't skimp out.
Yeah.
On that. So I definitely feel like they did an awesome job representing her and really hammering home just how badass she was as Captain Carter and everything.
So and that goes back to what I was asking before, because I know I said we don't believe that they're going to have a major prominent part. But I'm thinking, we have discussed this before on Keep It G and Into the Quniverse, that What If might have multiple episodes that tie into each other, like other episodes in the same What If universe. Has that been proven, or is that still up in the air at this point?
I mean, I think so. But that's not entirely. I'm not entirely certain.
Yeah,
that's the case. That if that's the case or not. So
because for non-spoiler, it was kind of left on a cliffhanger. This specific episode, even though we kind of know how the original Captain America went, but this one ended like in a cliffhanger as well, like if it was leading into something else.
Well, before you go any further, I want to point out that when it comes to What If, they oftentimes don't, like, they will leave
those cliffhangers definitely, like in the comic books,
with no intention on following up on it, leaving it up to your imagination and interpretation.
100% true.
So basically what I'm saying is, don't expect for it to automatically have a second a second go around if it does end on a. Sometimes they're just asking you to use your own imagination to conclude the story or continue it.
Speaking of comic books, can we get a shout out? Because Saturday was National Comic Book Day.
Free comic book day.
Free comic book day. Comic book day. You know what I'm saying?
No, one of the days
is there a comic book day and a free comic book day?
It's always free comic book day, and there's a National Comic Book Day. The difference you see is that on the free comic book day, they give out comics for free.
Yes.
On National Comic Book Day, they're just celebrating and recognizing.
And you don't get comics for free, so I prefer free comic book day.
It's up to you.
In fact, shout out free comic book day. If y'all didn't get your comic book Saturday, y'all have to wait around till next August to get your free comic books. But I'm definitely hyped for What If. But speaking of if or what or when, Willem Dafoe was asked last week about his involvement in Spider-Man No Way Home. And obviously this guy was coy about it. He said he doesn't really like to talk about projects until they're over with. And he doesn't know anything about any Spider-Man.
I'm just gonna stop you right there. They're not gonna say they're in the movie, y'all. Like, they're not.
So my thing is, if you're not in the movie,
I mean, they're not.
Why won't you just say no? I'm not in it.
They're not going to say it because they're either contractually obligated to say
Willem Dafoe.
They're contractually obligated. This is why.
But if he's not in the movie, how is he contractually obligated?
He is in the movie. I mean, but my point is that's why I don't pay attention to this stuff anymore. Is that it's pointless asking them. It's just stupid journalistic.
So if they don't give you a no, they're in the movie.
No, it's not that he didn't give a no. It's that the leak shit that's been right up until this point has said that the Raimi Green Goblin's in the movie, and either he is or if he isn't, it doesn't matter either way. But it's the fact is expecting these people to speak on a project that has had minimal endorsements, and not endorsements, but minimal promotions as to actually who else is in the movie besides the four main actors we know will be in the movie. It's just like. It's fishing. It's what pisses me. It's what pisses me off, and I'm serious. I'm serious here. Is that it's what pisses me off about modern day film nerd journalism is that rather than wait until it's opportune, like waiting to ask questions that matter, they ask stupid ass questions to see if it's clickbait and stuff like that. It's like,
well, if Tom Holland's any type of indication, I think they should at least give it a try.
No, because that stuff is because all of those. Oh, oopsie, I spoiled it. Those are calculated oopsies. I spoiled it.
You think so?
I know so.
So you think they gave Tom Holland the okay to spoil what he spoiled?
Yes, because that's promotion. That's giving you what it is, and you can tell by their reactions.
So why we don't get no oopsies now?
No oopsies now because we've been in a pandemic for going on 2 years now. That's why we haven't, because there hasn't been any reasonable way to interview these people about any projects to lead to that type of thing, because they're in a even more controlled environment than what before. It's not necessarily about if they got an oopsie or not. It's just the fact that it's no longer viable, because why would you be more concerned about this actor spoiling a superhero movie when people are still dying, or you're trying to figure out if it's going to be safe to go outdoors? So it's the prioritization of what needs to be news versus what needed to be news before. And so,
Vaughn, what's up? Appreciate you tuning in, bro.
So when it comes down to it, it's all about it's literally all about what the studio wants to use as promotion and what they don't. And what they don't want to use as promotion is right now spoiling anything, because they don't even know when the movie's going to come out. Yeah. So what sense does it make for Willem Dafoe to be, oh, I'm in the movie, and then it gets pushed back another year? Then you just spoiled something.
Well, I don't think they were going to think he was going to flat out say
no, I'm saying, no, I don't mean him flat out. I mean, what is the point of them telling him it's okay to be coy and be overt about it, and the movie's not coming out this year? Yeah. When Alfred Molina said what he said, it looked like the Spider-Man Far From Home release date was concrete. They figured that by this time last year, everything would be okay, and it would be a foregone conclusion it would release this winter. But now, with everything that's happening with the Delta variant and everything like that, it don't make no sense to do that. That's why you haven't heard anything about Morbius or how that's or the obvious connections that we saw in the very first trailer way back when that was going to have. It's the same reason why they haven't really talked about Venom 2 outside of even though it's at the second trailer, because it got delayed to October, and it might get might get one more delay. If it might get one,
Venom got delayed. Yeah, that's
so it's from a marketing standpoint, it don't really make sense to do the I spoiled something, whoops, philosophy promotion, because you might do that.
I don't remember what was Willem Dafoe there for. What was he getting interviewed for?
It was from
another movie. Yeah, I forgot the name of the movie he was getting interviewed for, but
which by the way, y'all, that's lame as hell. Don't ask people. Like, I'm so serious. There's one thing I've learned is that it's not like unless it's something that you know is like going to be announced, and you know the actor is like it's on their mind, or they're just as enthused to talk about it, don't just bring it up. If
not to sound like that guy, but I want to say I understand where the journalists are coming from, just because of the simple fact that this is single-handedly probably one of the biggest movies of all time.
That's nice.
The time. No, I'm not. I'm just saying I understand, because it's one of the biggest movies of all time, and we've never ever experienced this, where one of the biggest stories, plots, movies, actors of all time is completely dry.
That's nice.
I'm not saying it's good or bad,
but what I'm saying is all of that's nice, well and swell, but you're not paid to ask them about Spider-Man. You're paid to ask them about the movie.
All right, Kevin.
I mean, like, but seriously though, like, you're not paid to bother them about the superhero movie that they probably are gonna half-ass or not be as enthused about this passion project. You're paid to ask them about this.
But just think about.
And that's
but I get it in a journalist standpoint, and I get it in the standpoint you're saying, but they're gonna prod.
That don't mean you should. It's not about
but they're gonna do it.
It's not about a lack of understanding if they will or won't. It's about having the will to not ask that, because that's
easier said than done.
I mean, it's
dealing with literally it's like if Avatar 2 and we got the actors on scene, but there hasn't been any promotional, no talks about nothing. All you've seen is leaks. They're gonna ask about the movie.
Yeah, some will.
They're gonna ask about it,
but that don't mean that you should. Just because you do, don't mean you should. And to me, that's like it's we're in this day and age now where it's just like we've grown past the need of having nerd interviewers and movies. I'm serious. It's to me, after seeing.
So who do you think we need to interview them?
I think we just need people who have a general love and respect for all things to interview. I'm serious. I'm so serious about that.
I could kind of agree
because
with that.
I'm so sick of seeing interviews from these nerd conglomerate sites that would interview these people and supposed to be talking about this one project, and then like let me ask you about 50 questions about this Marvel or DC project, and then ask you one about the project I'm currently supposed to be interviewing you about. That to me is just
I 100% agree with you on that. Now, if it was in the space of the movie that we're talking like
then that's not even a question.
Yeah, facts.
You're supposed 100%. To ask them about Spider-Man or Batman or whatever the hell.
But if they're doing the Prestige and you're
unless
Dark Knight Returns,
it's like unless it's something that just is topical, like the release date for the Dark Knight Returns or Spider-Man 6 or whatever, and you know that they might be enthused to like touch on it a little bit, that's one thing. But if you know they can't talk about something, or you know that it would be a waste of time to try to prod them about something that even if they are a part of it, they know very little about, it just to me is like it's disrespectful.
I could agree with that, because a lot of times we get instances like that where they do that, where so obviously MCU and DCEU are some of the biggest properties out right now, and they would have some type of indie movie or maybe a lower budget film, and they were totally obscure about the movie that they're supposed to be asking about and go straight into the MCU. So your friend Chris Evans. And I agree with you on that. That's it could seem
it's cringy. It's cringy. It's cringy.
Yeah, it could be cringy.
It's like I'm sorry.
Almost as cringy as when they ask how the female characters fit to their suits.
Like it's it's like as much as I love Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin and would like to see him be back in any capacity, I'm not gonna ask him about that. Or like, I would ask him personally about that. Like, if I get a chance before or after, I would ask for my own personal well-being. I'm not gonna waste the interview time
to say me and MJ are gonna have a hell of a time.
Like, and I know that I know some interviews might not think that or know that's not necessarily,
but it also depends on where the conversation is going. You have to use your context, because if Willem Dafoe's talking about it, you know what I'm saying.
But are they having...
No, but I'm just saying, because people got to know the difference. Because if they bring in the stuff up, I'm not just gonna overcast what they're talking about. But this new movie you're doing, like,
but see, that's the thing. There's been no actor who's done that though. No actor. No actor is going to, if talking about their current film, is going to pivot to their franchise film. I've never seen that happen before. I could be wrong, but I've never seen an interviewer talk about this specific film and then the actor go,
except when Ryan Reynolds brought up Deadpool. When dang it, what movie was that he was doing? I want to say it was R.I.P.D. And he was talking about when because he didn't bring it up, but he did talk a lot about wanting to bring Deadpool back. I think before R.I.P.D. came out.
Well, see, that's another example that goes back to the example of marketing, the subtle marketing of it all. Because that was when they were trying to get Deadpool off the ground and trying to secure its film. And so that's Ryan Reynolds did that a lot. So that to me is a different case, because that's a project you're trying to solidify versus a project that has been signed, sealed, delivered, and it's more or less not even in the ballpark to be promoted, obviously, if they haven't done so before.
So back to Willem Dafoe though, how excited are you beyond the leaks, just knowing that there's a possibility that Willem Dafoe could reprise his role as Norman Osborn?
I'm as baseline excited as anything about that, but again, as I've said about the concept of this film and MCU Spider-Man as a whole, I'm not going to be fully excited about it. Probably not, because I don't trust their execution of it. Like I just got done saying, I really enjoy it. I would like to see him back, but I don't think that they're going to do it in a way that's going to stick with me, because nothing they've done with Spider-Man has stuck with me. So,
well, on the other side of the spectrum, a lot of things they've done with this Tom Holland Spider-Man has stuck with me. Not saying he's my favorite by any means, but I've definitely been enjoying the last couple movies that I've seen him in. Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. Spider-Man Far From Home, Homecoming. I've definitely liked a lot of things that they've done with this Tom Holland Spider-Man, suits wise, everything. So but obviously, like I've said before, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is 100% my favorite. And I was saying this last episode, I had watched the final fight scene between Spider-Man and Green Goblin, and Willem Dafoe and Tobey Maguire, just excellent, man. It was really good. So just to see, hopefully Andrew comes back. At this point, I'm getting more worried that we're not seeing anything or hearing anything. It's kind of starting to scare me. But Willem Dafoe, with no J.K. Simmons is gonna be in it.
But again, I shouldn't scare you, because they don't know when the movie's coming out. So why would they promote heavily? Why would they? Why would they Black Widow themselves?
We haven't even seen any leaked set photos with Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield walking around and nothing.
Well, because they're not gonna do that. This isn't a DC film. They're not going to let their most prominent stuff leak out for the world to see. They're going to keep their stuff close to the chest and still deny it if it's not officially released, as they should, because that is something that, again, is maintaining the hype, and not maintaining, but it's going to help reignite hype when they finally decide to do it. But
I'm just saying, if they drop any trailer and they show Tobey Maguire and Andrew
I don't think that they will.
Dude,
I mean, it's
oh my god, you just don't know. Or we see a Green Goblin outfit, the original Sam Raimi.
I don't know. It's like I'm of two minds of it. The MCU both can and can't. Well, they have and haven't, I should say, been too revealing in their trailers for the sake of, and to me, I don't think that it would benefit them to show too much.
I think that brings up a good question that I want you to touch on. Do you feel like it will hurt them if they did perpetuate this thought of, you know, how sometimes, like, say, did you get the job? And I just go like this and walk away, and then you find out I didn't get the job. Does it hurt more that I led you on to believe that I did this? So do you think it's going to hurt the MCU or Spider-Man, this new movie, the fact that they're kind of like looking at you like, yeah, nah, I ain't say nothing?
No, because it's no such thing. The leading somebody on only exists in relationships and real life individuals. The leading the false it's one thing if it was false advertisement where they were openly saying one thing and they failed to deliver on the other. That's something else entirely. But they're not telling you anything.
Yeah,
anything you're believing about this film other than it's Spider-Man and
it's our own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's real. It's as simple as that.
Facts. That's factual.
Anything that we don't like, literally, all we know definitively is that Mary Jane is in it, Ned is in it.
Facts.
Spider-Man is in it, and Doctor Strange is
facts.
That's all. That's literally all we know.
100%. Definitely.
You know, and so anything else we have conjured up, and the degree to which we conjured it up is literally our own deduction of things we've heard and seen that's supplementary to.
And I think that's what scares me the most, because I feel, and not scared like, but I feel like I have myself inherently boosted this movie to almost a height that maybe it can't reach. And you said, it's our own thought process though, as the fandom. There's really nothing concretely that has been said, we have seen. So now we have this thought in our head of what this movie is going to be, and it could be
like let me just lay it all on the table. So far, they've said that we believe, based off of things we've read and the amount of which we believe said things, is that Daredevil's in it.
Yep.
Doctor Strange is in it.
Robert Molina.
Multiple Spider-Men are in it.
Yep.
And multiple villains from across both of the previous Spider-Man series are in it.
Yes.
And it's going to tie into the larger multiverse stuff. And they might even do something crazy and like tying it into the Spider-Verse into it, because we know that they also want those 3 Spider-Man to appear into the Spider-Verse at some point.
And you have to understand that if they're working to if they have gotten Toby and Andrew, that means Sony has had to come to some agreement.
No, I mean, that just encompasses multiple Spider-Man. So that's the same. That's
that's what I'm saying. So if they are in the movie, that means they have to have some agreement with Sony to use these 2 Spider-Man properties. And we know Tom Holland is back and part of Sony.
But again, I just said that with Spider-Man. So it's like, that's basically what it is. So what I'm getting at is that, you know, that's all of the things we've said in our mind is what's going to happen, and that's a lot of things.
Definitely.
We have to understand that they're not gonna. This is still Marvel, so they're not gonna, especially with this, they're not gonna make it some 4-hour Snyder cut extravaganza.
Oh, that'll be.
They're not. They aren't, and it's simply because you can tell they haven't, because the movie was shot so what's the word? I'm not going to say quickly because that would be a disservice, but it was shot so efficiently that it doesn't seem like, and plus Marvel is
if everything was already in plan, then it's still been shot efficiently.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was shot efficiently, so it doesn't make sense for it to be some grandiose that would literally mean that everything they shot they plan on putting into the movie, which we already know can't be the case because of a litany of, they probably shot dummy scenes for a movie that has been this secretive. You can almost guarantee that they have shot dummy scenes, so it would be hard theoretically for stuff to leak out. But my point is that, you know, a lot of that stuff might not be as specific as we think. Well, and we also got to realize that it also can't overlap, you know, on things that they're trying to do elsewhere. You know,
definitely like Venom and Spider-Man meeting up and all that.
You know, not just that as far as that goes, but other MCU plot lines. You know, if they're gonna do, like, if for all intents and purposes, if Multiverse of Madness is the main event of the multiverse stuff, then that leads you to believe that whatever happens to Spider-Man, it would have to on paper be a little bit
not resolved,
or at the very least scaled back, and that's why I'm just like,
well, I could feel like they can save whatever, like say maybe the universe that's told Tom Holland saves is not the MCU's Spider-Man universe. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't even think that it'll be a situation where universes will be saved. That's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm thinking that it's going to be something along
like I thought before. If it was just me personally, what I had thought before was the fact I thought that because of the universal rifts and stuff and universal villains coming for, let's just say it's different, they're actually from different universes like Electro and Doc Ock, because they potentially can be Tom Holland's villains in their universe. So let's just get that out the way. But say they weren't, I was thinking that it was going to be like a multiversal Sinister Six that Tom Holland's Spider-Man couldn't defeat himself
if they go in that
direction. That's what I'm hoping for. But as you said before, they kind of already had their story before they even knew they were going to get the rights to all these people. So
yeah, and we also, and you're gonna hate when I say this, but it's the truth, they like to rush through significant things in the Spider-Man movies. They've done that in Homecoming, they did that in Far From Home. Nothing really stuck out. nothing really stood out there and manifested. Everything kind of just came and went on a lot of things that you would expect to simmer and resonate if moving forward.
Just letting it simmer. Yeah.
And so with Spider-Man No Way Home and with every and just for comparison, Homecoming was a very subdued film for an MCU.
Definitely.
It wasn't nothing grandiose.
Definitely.
Much to its detriment. Far From Home was probably the most middleist and probably the most, I'd say traditional, but a little bit, that might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it was the most superhero-y of the two Spider-Man movies.
Definitely.
But when you look at everything, you look at how uniquely managed, if I'm gonna be diplomatic and keep things diplomatic, how uniquely managed some of the important beats of Spider-Man's MCU story has been.
Yeah.
It's very hard to pin down what is going to be the focal point and if it should be the focal point. I genuinely, and I've said this from the beginning, and this, Q, that I've always had a problem with the concept of the previous two Spider-Men coming into a movie that doesn't, and that's not the main focus. That's not the full 2 hour and 30 minutes plot of a Spider-Man movie.
And I agree with you. I would definitely hate that if they were just, and
that's probably what it's going to be. It's probably going to be a third act or late third act thing. Or probably not late third act. It'll probably be an entire third act thing, but it'll be too short. And I feel like
definitely.
And I feel like with Into the Spider-Verse showed tremendously is that it's very easy to tell a story with distinct versions of the same character and have you care about their motives, their dialogue, their actions with minimal in movie build up. Like you can just drop them in, specifically with these two Spider-Man, which a lot of people know and love and grew up on.
Yeah,
it's even easier to just plop them right in and just say go. And with them potentially, because you still got to remember Peter's identity being revealed is a big thing. How he handles that
exactly.
And
that's another thing that we didn't touch on, because obviously that's going to be a major focal point in the movie.
Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Because I would hate for them to gloss over that. But also another thing that we're assuming that's going to happen is that Matt Murdock is going to be the one representing him.
And then again, how significant is that? Because knowing the MCU, they might just have Charlie Cox show up for about 2 minutes and 30
fumbling
seconds.
with his papers, like
no, not even fumbling with his papers. Just have him represent Peter in court, and and we never see that. We never see him again. It's just implied that he's there.
Ron, what's up? Appreciate you for tuning in.
And even further, with Vincent D'Onofrio playing,
coming back, supposedly
coming back. It's like he might even have us show. He might be one of the people in the courtroom just watching it. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. In a different universe. Okay, yeah.
No, not even in a different universe.
Because how Matt gonna feel about that?
Like it might be like it might just be so much.
Yeah,
it might just be like again, a glorified TV cameo. And when you when you consider the significance of everything, because nothing that has been,
they don't deserve to be cameos. Like
it's nothing that we've heard that could or is in this film are something small and should just be glossed over.
Exactly.
And again,
but it did get a 3-hour point, or it was 2:30.
What?
The movie 2:30 or 3?
No, I just threw that number out there.
Okay.
No one has any idea what the runtime is. But it's literally just I've said this before. There's no guarantee that this movie is going to be good, and I really doubt it will be, because there's so much stuff that needs to be a focal point. But
I can somewhat agree with you on that specific aspect, because there are so many things that need to be done and can't be half-assed. If certain parts are half-assed, like if the core scene is half-assed, people are gonna have something to say about that. If we get Toby and Andrew in the third act and we don't get no fleshing out about how their lives been since they've been Spider-Man since we last seen them, it's gonna be half-assed. If Tom Holland doesn't have a full character arc where he gets to develop into a Spider-Man and finds out that there are other Spider-Mans that but he still can be Spider-Man and not need help and stuff like that, it's gonna be half-assed. If the villains come back, if Robert Molina, Willem Dafoe, and Jamie Foxx come back and it's half-assed, and Michael Keaton come back and it's so it's a lot of things going against this movie, but as well as the hype is making it even much more wanted. It's like, did they have a chance to?
And I want to kill something right now, because I know people will watch this or will hear criticism similar, and they're like, why? Okay, if you feel this way about Spider-Man, why don't you feel the way about Doctor Strange too? It's easy. Spider-Man stories carry more weight than a Doctor Strange story. There's a reason why the second Doctor Strange movie had to be a grandiose tale, and you've had 2 previous Spider-Man stories that didn't have to. And specifically when when one of the Spider-Man sequels decided to go big, it was met with a mixed result. There's a reason why, Spider-Man 2 for a lot of people is their favorite superhero movie, because it was able to tell a story. Tell a story that was grounded and was true to the character. Amazing. And still exactly. And not saying every Spider-Man fan, because I'm a firm believer that if you have a good story, no matter the size or scope, you go with it. But even then, there's a difference between that, and there's a difference between being hungry and eating so you're full, and letting your eyes eat for you and you can't finish your plate. And again, this goes back to my own personal opinion that I'm going to try to articulate in a way that, to justify my beliefs. But with me, the way that Spider-Man has been so little of a focal point in his solo films, not talking
MCU
about
Spider-Man.
Like the fact that he's been such a little emphasis on his own films. And now you're just really drowning him out. And with all of this nonsense, not nonsense in a bad way, but nonsense in terms of what can happen, does happen. To me, that's a recipe. It's similar to The Flush. It's similar to Flash Pointless in a way, but probably less egregious, because it's not this Spider-Man isn't a result. This Spider-Man movie isn't a result of a studio trying to. And
at the same time, we haven't seen Tom Holland Spider-Man in a while.
But
it's been a pretty long while, and where they were going with this new Spider-Man from the end credits from Spider-Man Far From Home, it looks like you were saying, they're gonna make grander. They're gonna really dive into his character. Obviously,
no. I mean, but that's if you said the same thing. You said the same thing after No Way Home. I mean, Homecoming, that you thought they would be doing more.
I felt like they did, but that's my own personal.
We didn't see him again until he died in Infinity War. So what measuring stick of what measuring stick?
He became an Avenger.
Again, what measuring stick of change did we really have?
I was talking about from Homecoming to Far From Home.
I mean, but again, he was dead for 5 years.
True. But he still had a character development in Far From Home.
No, Quentin, we've already gone through. He did.
Yeah, your opinion though.
He really, really didn't.
I think he did.
They finally said.
I think they
finally remembered that his most iconic power, outside of him swinging and crawling, needed to be properly adapted.
I felt like he learned that yeah, he shouldn't be looking to everybody for a father figure, that he learned he could do things on his own.
After every sign,
it still happened though.
And just in the worst, in the most poorly written, right? But that's not. But how poorly written Far From Home.
But that wasn't
is,
my point. My point was he still learned something and grew from something.
And my point is that even if that was a thing that happened, how are we going to learn from? First of all, what makes that point of view kind of sort of set up to fail is that he's with Doctor Strange now, and for all intents and purposes.
But we don't know if Doctor Strange is going to play a father figure role yet.
I mean, they literally, if you've seen any of the recent leaks, it's confirmed that the gold and black suit has some magic, has ties to magic. And
that doesn't mean father figure.
I mean,
people work together and don't have and give people stuff and don't have to be father figure. Like, I looked up to you, Dad.
If the way they've been establishing how magicians teach magic in MCU is any indication, that the relationship does have to be significant for Doctor Strange to even help to this degree. You know,
it could be a brotherly relationship.
And that's still a bridge too far. But my point is that, what's the point? Is it going to have any substance? And so far, there's been literally no substance in the MCUs. We haven't even mentioned the role Aunt May could play in this, and that's probably the most important relationship.
Shout out to Marissa Tomei, though.
That's probably the most important relationship Peter could be having right now, dealing with all of this.
Yeah, definitely.
And we don't even know. Hell, we don't even know if Marissa Tomei is going to be in the movie.
Hey, don't do that.
She hasn't. I mean, they haven't.
Don't do that.
They haven't confirmed she's
a whole Spider-Man movie without Aunt May one time.
Hey, they've done worse in this MCU so far. So hell, I mean, shit. She had barely been in the 2 movies.
Come on, Marissa Tomei was in them.
Barely. With no,
I'm gonna get that gif of when the original Aunt May from Sam Raimi trilogy was praying. I need that gif.
Like, it's like, like barely in the goddamn movie. So it's like,
but moving on, because obviously we're both still hyped for Spider-Man. We want to see it, but there is a lot of things surrounding it that we don't know. But moving forward, some things that's a little bit more tangible. Now it is the 30th anniversary of the Tim Burton Batman's Return movie, and we have some news because Danny DeVito is also writing his own comic book Penguin version, his own Penguin story. As you remember, in the Tim Burton in 1989, he played Penguin in the Tim Burton's Batman, and now he's doing his writing debut, his first comic ever, and it will be a Penguin comic, an origin story for Penguin. QMG, how you feel about it?
It's a thing.
So we gonna act like Danny DeVito ain't that guy.
It's a thing. I don't know what else to tell you. You can be excited for him, bro.
Yeah, dude, it's Penguin, Danny DeVito.
We have no idea if he can write at all.
You ain't gonna give him a chance.
I don't have
give
to
him a chance.
Nothing. I really don't have any sort of.
Are you gonna read it?
No, I have no intention on reading it.
I'm sorry, Danny. I'm gonna read it for you because people hating on you. I'm gonna give you a chance.
What? I have no intention on reading none of that. None of that.
This could be literally one of the best comics of all time.
With what evidence?
I'm saying that's anything.
You made that's a blanket statement.
I'm saying, like, any comic that's written has a chance to be the best comic of all time.
No, that's not how that works.
Give him a chance. Yeah, let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments. Are y'all gonna give Danny DeVito a chance with his Batman, Tim Burton, Penguin story? Let me know.
I mean, fair play to y'all. I mean, it's not like it's something that's absolutely is gonna suck. I'm just saying.
That's how you talking.
No, I'm literally.
I'm not gonna read it. Yeah. He's ass. Whoa.
That's literally not what I said. I'm saying that it's just there's nothing about that concept that is that's appealing to me at all, and it's just not on my radar. It's
learning about the deep-rooted history of Oswald Cobblepot.
There's at least 4 things that's come out in the past 2 years that's done the exact same thing. What difference is it going to be? And guess what? The literal opening to Batman Returns does that. Like it quite literally tells you everything you would need to know about that version of the Penguin. And then the rest of the movie also doubles down on letting you know.
Why are you hating on Dan DeVito so hard right now?
You're trying to sell me on a book.
Yeah,
that's literally that. Unlike the
you acting like we ain't seen 80 million versions of every character.
The whole purpose of Batman 89 is to tell what would happen if Tim Burton continued the film series outside of giving it to Joel Schumacher. The one thing we absolutely don't need any sort of full viewpoint of is Penguin, who was the most fully developed character in Batman Returns. It's literally cut and dry.
Daddy, I'm gonna read your shit.
Okay, that's good.
That man just went hard on you. I don't know, like Danny.
Well, it's to me, it's literally nothing more that can be said.
Well, we'll see. Well, obviously, we don't know until Danny DeVito writes his story. So,
I mean, I don't care to know. So, to me, I do know. To you,
we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Shout out Danny DeVito, man. Your writing debut, bro. I got your back. But now something that we both are in agreement on. Chloe Bennett exits as Blossom on the CW Powerpuff Girls shows, which nobody was looking forward to. But
no, I kind of know some people who was. That's not.
Are you looking forward to? That's what I really meant.
No.
All righty, that's what I like to hear. Now, in all seriousness, no. I was not excited for this Powerpuff Girls show. I'm definitely a fan of the OG Powerpuff Girls, 100%. Watch it to this day. Saw some of the leaked script for the CW Powerpuff Girls. Was utterly disgusted with this script. Didn't really care for it too much. Chloe Bennett leaves due to time restrictions.
No, it's not time restrictions. She dropped out because of contractual obligations elsewhere.
That's what I'm saying.
It would have been scheduling conflict.
That's what I'm saying. Time constriction. That's the same thing.
It's not.
Yes, it is. Time constriction.
Time constrictions means that you were under a time limit and you couldn't complete it. And
that is what it is.
No,
she was under a time scheduling time limit. She was under a time scheduling.
It's the correct terminology is scheduling conflict.
My fast Susie's almanac. My fault.
Just making sure you don't sound. I'm just making sure you don't.
My bad. Dennis Dictionary.
I'm just making sure you got the right terminology, bro. That's all.
My bad.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Wesley Wikipedia.
But yeah, scheduling conflicts, which probably would have been wrapped up in a timely manner if the series went to air like they were hoping before the script leaked, and tanked any chances of it starting when they originally wanted it to.
Yes. And they still don't have a Blossom at this point.
They still don't have a Blossom. It's looking like he's going to get canned because here's what people need to understand about television stuff if you don't know. Just because you shoot a pilot doesn't mean your series will be picked up or the pilot will even air. Look no further than Green Arrow and the Canaries, which was meant to be the new flagship show for the CW DC shows, which focused on Mia Smoke as Green Arrow with the two Black Canaries from the CW verse. And it went the way of the dodo. And they never, and with the only thing being out there of any tangibility being the backdoor pilot that they had on the last season of Arrow that no one watched. But with the same thing, they shot the pilot with that script for Powerpuff Girls.
I just can't wait till they air it, till they let us see it.
I mean, I can't wait. It'll probably be leaked before it's officially aired. Some of those, it'll probably be leaked sometime in the next 3 years.
I'm gonna make a special episode where I just on Discord and watch that.
But got to. But the reason why that's is significant, other than in the telltale sign that this project might be DOA, is that another series that is reportedly begun production is the Samuel Jackson led Secret Invasion Disney Plus show. And for those who don't know, Chloe Bennett's MCU character
Quake,
Daisy Johnson Quake, she plays a pivotal role with Nick Fury throughout the comic book version of Secret Invasion. And what leads even more credence to this being possible is that during the series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Daisy was in space. She
Sword.
was she not sword necessarily, but she was in space. She was no longer on Earth. And if you've seen WandaVision season finale, you know that they and Far From Home for that
the
matters,
scrolls are on Earth.
Not just that, but the sword is assembling a group of individuals to run it, and it's safe to assume that good old Chloe, she would be reprising her role. Which,
speaking of Agents of Shield, do you think we're ever going to see Agent Coulson back in the MCU ever?
well, depends on what you mean. It depends on how they get to go about it. Because technically, going off the ending of his Agents of Shield, he finally died for real.
Yeah.
So if they do bring him back, it'll probably be an LMD again or not, or it could be in flashbacks. But we're going back to Agents of Shield
or alternate universe version once again. Once they did it,
I don't think that, unfortunately, not to hate, because Coulson was a dope character, but I don't think Coulson's important enough to them dedicate a whole alternate universe type deal unless it's something like a one-off.
Yeah.
But going back to Agents of Shield, this will be Chloe, if this is true, which it does look like. Chloe would be the first Agents of Shield cast member to be in the MCU proper, and what I mean by that is finally be a part of that two-way MCU door.
Because Agents of Shield, if I'm correct, did have plot holes that kind of made it questionable if they were a part of the MCU.
Not necessarily plot holes, but it was very much giving. It was very much giving. I can only go down one road while you can go both ways. So whatever happened in
kind of like how the Netflix MCU, Marvel Netflix did.
Well, Netflix had it worse than what Agents of Shield had, because Agents of Shield did have Maria Hill and Nick Fury show up at pivotal points and acknowledge the group as a whole.
Definitely.
So and technically, the Agents of Shield played some of the story beats in Agents of Shield played pivotal roles in MCU movies, like the second helicarrier for Age of Ultron, and helping the Avengers find the scepter in Age of Ultron is where their influence is felt the most.
Yeah.
But as far as actual characters being in an MCU film that started off in Agents of Shield, if this is true, Daisy would be the first, and that would open the door for the rest of them to come in and, work and do some sort of crossover. My personal hope is that Agent May, Ming-Na Wen's character, gets to crossover in the future.
Yeah,
so that's something.
Yeah, she's probably the most badass of all the people in the whole show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Secret Invasion. This sounds like something you're very passionate about, as far as like with the
I wouldn't say
Shield
passionate. I just
is it one of the most excited thing? Well, out of all the MCU lineup that's been coming out so far, is it one of the top things that you're excited for to see where they take this storyline?
Not necessarily, because for what I mean. Am I excited for it? Yeah, because it's doing the thing I want them to do. And that is, if they can't not try to force a big event to be the same on the big screen, if they have to handle it to a smaller scale, then do that. Not saying that Disney Plus shows can't do large scale, because with WandaVision, well, literally the first three, I would argue, we've seen them do large scale, world changing, things happening that on paper will affect everything moving forward. But what I will say is that since they said that they literally said it will be more of a procedural type deal with a buddy cop procedural type deal.
So Nick Fury is the main character.
Yes, but considering that it's going to be a buddy cop procedural type deal, I think it can be entertaining. I'm not necessarily over the moon about it, like, oh my God, Secret Invasion. But I am excited.
I know we have Skrull, and I know we have Nick Fury as the main character, so we got humans, and we got as of right now, we just go off of what we know. Quake is an Inhuman. If we just go off of what we know now,
if they've referenced that,
if they read that. But I'm just saying, all we know is if she's coming back as Quake, we just, until they say otherwise, we have to assume she's an Inhuman. But and do you think we're gonna get some Kree and Shi'ar?
No, Shi'ar. I don't think they're going to be doing anything overt like that that deals with the X-Men until the X-Men show up. Kree, no, I'm not entirely sure. because it's Secret Invasion.
I think we might get some Kree just because.
I don't think so, because for the simple fact that it won't be it won't be Secret Invasion. Secret Invasion is about the Skrulls, and I think that
we've seen things change up, just even in the MCU, changing it where the Skrulls aren't as devious as they once were. But I think Kree being
the reason why I say no Kree is because I think that'll be a Captain Marvel specific thing.
The Marvels,
but I mean, within the Captain Marvel side, is I think that'll be that type deal, and I think the Skrulls will be Secret Invasion just to make it easier to focus on.
Yeah,
and that's not even saying what else can happen that'll also influence it, because again, all we know is what it's about on a conceptual level. We don't even know what it's going to actually end up being in its final version. So just simply going off of speculation.
Yeah,
and
that's what we got a lot of. Even though we got a lot of hardcore solidified things for the MCU going on next couple years, there's also a lot of things that are speculatory at this point.
Yeah, and there'll be a lot of speculation happening on November 12th, Disney Plus Day.
Disney Plus Day,
which is looking to be their equivalent to the DC fandom. Which will probably be better than the DC fandom this year.
First, before you get into it, do you think Blue Marvel is going to be in the Marvels?
I have no idea. Now that you say that, I have no idea. Okay, I doubt it, because it's about. I doubt it because I know the director. She wanted a more of a generational type deal with the three women. Yeah, and I think Blue Marvel might disrupt that. I think Blue Marvel might be serviced more in a Monica show or Monica led project.
Yeah,
but it could happen.
I think Blue Marvel would be pretty cool if they did introduce him. But yeah,
it could definitely be a cool thing that I'd be down to see, depending on how it's done. But Disney Plus Day, the Disney version of DC fandom, in a sense, is happening. They announced it yesterday. Yep. It's going to focus on all upcoming Star Wars, Marvel, and
Obi-Wan trailer.
That could be. If I'm going to, first let me read.
Let's call it Disney speculation day.
No,
but up until this point, we're gonna be speculating.
I mean, we're gonna speculate, but we know it's gonna be called Disney Plus Day. But back to everything that's gonna be represented: Marvel, Star Wars, the Disney original content, Pixar. Basically all of that stuff. And I think that we're going to see, as far as Star Wars stuff goes, because you mentioned Obi-Wan starting off with that.
Yes,
I know for a fact we'll see Boba Fett stuff. That's almost a certainty, since that just got done wrapping up, and I wouldn't
Mandalorian 3.
Mandalorian 3. Now, my theory for a couple of months now, because Sasha Banks took a couple of months off of wrestling, and I want to say that she was shooting something for Star Wars, because it really didn't make sense for her to miss time after WrestleMania, like that much time, because she literally just came back earlier this month, and WrestleMania was in
April. No, they did.
It was late March. So that's April, May, June, July, and then just this month in August. So that's 5 months off, and that's enough time to shoot your. If you're seeing as she's a side character, well, she's not a side character, but she's not the main character.
Yeah.
So that's enough time to shoot some stuff, and then if you need to come back after the fact, shoot some more stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think they have shot some stuff for the Mandalorian and just hasn't said anything. But I know for a fact the Book of Boba Fett will be shown. I don't know. I don't have any.
He does. He said he does know it for a fact.
I mean, I'm gonna call my shot. I know for a fact that they'll show some They'll show some a Book of Boba Fett stuff.
Have you watched any of the Bad Batch, by the way?
Not yet. Okay.
I haven't had. They actually in the Bad Batch, I've seen some leaks. It's out, but I'm saying I've seen some leaks beforehand. For episodes I haven't seen and stuff like that. Before it came out, they were had explained about how Palpatine came back and stuff to the resurrection. They explained the resurrection process,
clones and stuff. Yeah, clones and Force stuff. They said that with the Rise of Skywalker. But yeah, I know that they'll show some stuff about that. Probably Bad Batch season 2, since they confirmed it. You don't think it's gonna be too early for them to show something from that? No, that's to stop them. When it comes to the animation stuff, they haven't had no problem going back as far as Clone Wars, showing like bam, bam, bam. It might not be released as soon, but if they have stuff to show as animation, I would assume that they would show that. I'm
young
hoping
pilot, you will die.
Shout outs to G4. I am assuming that they might. Well, they better show something from Obi-Wan. I'm
They
assuming
better.
It might be a very short teaser trailer. Like it's something not
Him walking in Tatooine
with voiceover stuff. I would not expect them to have any sort of
yeah, definitely
any sort of substance,
because we haven't even had a teaser yet, so we're due for a teaser. Like him walking with the silhouette.
We might hear more about Patty Jenkins, the Rogue Squadron film that's planned.
Do you think we're ready for an all X-Wing movie?
Yes, because just historically speaking, that type of content has done extraordinarily well for Star Wars.
Do you think it's going to be like a Rogue One effect where you got these group of characters like Saving Private Ryan where you get attached and they all die?
No, because that's not when you look at if you and this is going into some film history buff type stuff. Normally, you don't have to do that with those type of films, aviation films, because you can get away with like one or two people dying, but you can tell a story and make a franchise out of a unit like that. So it's
speaking of Top, when is the new Top Gun coming out?
I don't care. But
I got the knee.
But yeah, I don't think it's gonna be a Rogue One type deal. I think they're actually trying to secure Patty down for a franchise with Rogue Squadron because folks might not know, but Rogue Squad that name carries a lot of weight with Star Wars fans. So definitely. I think that is.
Have you played the game yet?
I mean, the new one?
Yeah.
No. But yeah, that's something I think they can show. They'll show some stuff off concept, casting announcements, something like that. And my long shot Star Wars stuff before I go to Marvel, and then I toss it over to you. I didn't really expect them. Not really, but I think they might announce a new movie. I think like a new mainline Star Wars.
You think so?
I think so. I mean,
you really think that was a bold one?
I do. I think at this
like
point,
new trilogy type shit.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna go a step further. I think that while they say the Skywalker shit is done, I would not be surprised if
obviously she's coming back.
No, I'm not just talking about Rey. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if, because of the backlash that they received about the way the trilogy was handled, the way John Boyega and Rose was treated, I would not be surprised if, to rectify that, they brought them all back for their own jaunt. And
you think John gonna come back after all that?
John has always said that he's never had a problem with the head honchos. It was how certain things was handled while the stuff was filmed. Like he never had a problem with Catherine Kelly and JJ. He never had a problem with them. It's just the fact that
Mike, what up?
It's just the fact that when stuff dovetailed and from Last Jedi, and then they tried
nosedive is the correct term, sir.
And when they what I said?
Oh, you said tail dived or something like that. It's nosedive.
Well, if it's crashing, it's crashing. I think that when it comes down to those two things, I feel like that's what soured him, and then of course the racism that he dealt with. But he always said, like if they ever came to him and like they had like ever came to him with something better, he would have no problem.
So you think they're gonna let Poe, Rey, and Finn run it back?
They should. That's like, again, this is my spit in the wind, goddamn super duper mega unlikely prediction, but I think that it would not. I think that those three characters alone have too much fan support.
I agree with that,
and there's too much left on the table.
I agree with you.
And there's too much left on the table, and obviously Kylo wouldn't be able to come back for obvious reasons. But I feel like as
a Force ghost, he can.
No, they're not gonna. Adam Driver probably slick the most tired of Star Wars.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree.
So they're probably.
I'm just saying he can potentially.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
facts.
He's not like
factual.
He might be the one that's real. Him and Oscar Isaac really, but if factual. John talks Oscar to come back, then he'll come back.
I was gonna say, ain't Poe coming back in other movies?
I have no idea, but I think that that's would be something. I think they'll announce it. I know for a fact nothing possibly could have been shot, because that would have been something people talked about ad nauseum at this point.
Yeah.
But I think that they might announce new Star Wars trilogy and have like John, Rey, and Oscar John, Daisy, and Oscar come out and say they're back, and then let folks speculate from there. Now the Marvel stuff, now that's tricky. That's tricky because unlike Star Wars, where nothing outside of the Mandalorians to the 2 Mandalorian series
is locked in.
like nothing else, everything else Star Wars is just up in the air.
Yeah,
so there was no reshuffling they ever had to do because of the pandemic. But with Marvel, that's a different question, because if they're pushing back, if there's rumors that they're pushing back Spider-Man, and there's a possibility they'll push back Eternals, which I don't think they will, but it's out there, then that means come November 12th, a lot of stuff can be pushed back and a lot of stuff can be not shown.
I'll be surprised if Eternals gets pushed back, because dude, we done seen teasers and full trailers for them. I'll be very surprised if they get pushed back.
Right, but
especially due to Delta variant, they might be looking like we don't want to push this movie out for it to do badly in sales. So we'll push it back maybe if Delta variant has subsided and people start doing what they're supposed to do, and then everybody can go back to movie theaters, we'll have a bigger turnout, which I don't believe, because I think Eternals is going to be whack as hell. But
as far as what they'll show at Marvel, I think they'll show Moon Knight for sure, just based off of the thing that came out, which we're not going to talk about anymore because they are sniping people who talk about that. But
we're talking about, as far as,
we are not going to talk about Moon Knight because there are sniping people who do that. But
why?
We're not going to talk about it. I don't know why you keep doing that when I was saying.
No, I'm talking about June Knight.
We're not. They're probably going to show the official stuff. They're probably going to show the official stuff for that. Hawkeye, maybe, if there is not a release date definitively between now and November 12th, which is they're probably unlikely. And if they do, and when they announce Hawkeye, it'll probably be like a surprise drop, like surprise is the first episode comes out tomorrow or whatever. Other than that, we might get the first trailer for Doctor Strange 2. Might.
I doubt it.
And I mean, no, I don't, for the simple fact that, again, Doctor Strange 2 is far enough away that they don't have to think about a pushing back of the release date. So that's why I say we at least get the first trailer for that, so they have something tangible. Matter of fact, if I'm being like, unless something changes within the next 3 months, I wouldn't be surprised if both the No Way Home and those trailers happen, because they kind of don't have a choice at that point. Because I don't think that they're going to literally wait until the movie comes out to start promoting it. I think that's a nonsensical way of looking at it, because they still have to put out toys and merchandise and let merchants know in advance and stuff like that. That doesn't happen. Like, I know people have been talking about that on the internet, that is something they could do, but that's not how modern day promotional stuff works at all. So
so those are the things you think obviously I'm not going to talk about moon pie or moonshine or moonlight.
It's hard it's genuinely hard for me to think with the Marvel stuff specifically that they have anything tangible outside of the Disney Plus shows. As far as the films go,
obviously I'm hoping that they give us something for Spider-Man.
I think I mean, like, those two, like, that's really, like, in my opinion, the forest gone conclusion. But any of the Disney Plus shows they announced last year,
Loki season 2,
I don't know. They're probably not shooting that yet. They're probably waiting until the Delta variant they know for a fact where the Delta variant what direction it's headed before they start shooting anything.
Secret Invasion.
I think well, if the scheduling conflict is true, if that's the reason she pulled out, then maybe they got a couple of stuff shot.
Well, it doesn't just have to be her in it.
But I'm saying that's what would make Secret Invasion likely, because that would almost guarantee we could see something fairly soon. But Loki 2, no, I think they're waiting I think they're going to honestly wait until they know where the Delta variant is going before they think about shooting.
I'm thinking Mandalorian, maybe Mandalorian 3. Because Mandalorian, obviously, I really believe Obi-Wan is almost like 95%.
Okay, so your stuff is basically the
Mandalorian, Obi-Wan. I believe we're going to get something for Spider-Man. Like, I honestly believe they're saving it from Disney Plus Day. And obviously Obi-Wan, we haven't seen anything on Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan is like their next big Star Wars show to come out.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty positive they're gonna at least give us a teaser. I was gonna say a teaser trailer for Obi-Wan. I'm pretty positive we're gonna get that. As far as everything else, pretty much up in the air. I don't know about no new Star Wars trilogy. I don't know, bro. We'll probably get a trailer for Rogue One.
That's a Rogue
Squadron. I mean, it's Rogue Squadron.
But that's why I said it's my spit in the wind type deal, because they need
because Disney Plus isn't only dealing with Disney Plus properties. This is Disney as a whole, right?
Disney Plus Day, what's going to be coming up on what's going to be
because if it's Disney Plus Day, then I don't know if we're going to get anything Spider-Man.
I mean, we'll have obviously over the coming months we'll get more and more clarification.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll adjust our excitement accordingly. But,
yeah, facts.
Just taking it at face value on what can be shown. Yeah.
Speaking of November the 12th, it's been a year since when November 12th drops. It would have been a year since the PlayStation 5 was dropped,
and people still don't own it. Which
I got one.
I mean, that's nice.
I got it.
But you already know,
and I didn't even have to scalp. I got mine legit.
Well, you already know what I'm about to say, and that is that they should have just waited until the pandemic.
Well, they don't feel that way because when I did my research, their sales has been doing lovely.
I mean,
their sales been doing great, obviously with the scalping, but for them, it's a win. So they don't feel like they should.
Is it a win?
Yeah, when they sales is doing amazing, breaking records, and they're happy.
I mean, what type of records? It's like
biggest selling console of all time.
No, it's not actually.
Out of which one? And I know you ain't finna say PS2 because they've been past PS2.
No, the PS5 is not past the PS2 in any lifetime sales at any capacity.
We'll look it up off stream.
No, you can look it up and see that I'm right.
We'll see.
The PS2 sales are not going to be like the PS2. The PS2, the PS2 sales have only been passed by one console and soon to be two, and that's the Nintendo Wii. That's the only.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Wii.
Then the
Wii did numbers, but no, I have to look it up. I might be wrong.
The PS5 for the PS5 to catch up with the PS2 would have to be on the market for 5 more years and slice the price down by 300 and mass produce it. Well,
like I said, they've been doing well with their numbers. They've been doing a hell of a job. They ain't mad. So, and it's partly due to scalpers and robots, but they've been selling all the consoles that they produced.
Go ahead and wrap it up, Don.
We'll wrap it up then. Do you like the Migos did Joe Budden? Wrap it up then.
And I'm gonna wrap you up. How about that?
Psych.
I folded you up. How about that?
Anyway, before I was so rudely interrupted, you made me forget what the heck I was talking about. Thanks. Great job.
You're the one that went off on
great
a
job
on what you was talking about.
But yeah, no. But before we get out of here, because I brought up Marvel on Disney Day, November the 12th, all that. But no, I just honestly believe that Spider-Man is, if it's just Disney Plus Day, it's not going to get shown. But I think we talked about a lot. It's been a great episode, man. Like I always say on YouTube, y'all go ahead and give us a share, a follow, a comment, as well as on Facebook as well. But yeah, this was a great episode, man. We got a lot. We're gonna watch that new Powerpuff Girls when it come out on CW.
If it come out,
so we're gonna watch it.
No.
That's sure crazy. You ain't gonna watch the Powerpuff Girls, bro. But with that being said, man, I'm Q,
and I am QM.
And this is Into the Quniverse, where we talk to you guys about everything geeky, gaming, and nerdy. You already know we got to turn that beat on, man. This was a great episode. Thank y'all so very much for tuning in. We will be back next week with some more geeky, gamey stuff. Thank y'all. Y'all already know we got to let that beat ride. Peace. Let that jump ride real quick. Dab me up. Hey.